Hello, everyone. It's Mark Gilliard again, and I want to welcome you to your new favorite song here on AIM Country Music Television. My guest today, the wonderful Rebecca Correia. She's a singer, songwriter, performer. She started writing songs when 9 years old. She plays guitar, piano, and mandolin in her performances. She splits her time between her native Massachusetts and Tennessee. Rebecca has written hundreds of songs, and she does more than 100 shows every year. She's a friend and collaborator of the legendary Grammy-winning bluesman Keb Mo, and he produced her grown-up games project. She's open for a wide variety of artists, including Natasha Bedingfield, Sean Coven, Jesse Coulter, and a whole bunch more. Rebecca's here today to talk about the video for her new song, Rose-Colored Glasses. So let's get her in here right now to talk about what might just be your new favorite song. Rebecca, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
You're really welcome. It's nice to meet you face to face.
It's great to be here.
Well, I think we should just jump right in with both feet. I'm a new fan, so just give us the deluxe edition of your intro to you and your music.
So I've been making music for as long as I can remember since I was a little girl, and I've always found it as a way to express myself and share my thoughts. And I've found that that seems to have helped other people in the process of me living my dreams and sharing my messages. So I've been at it for quite some time now, and have played a lot of many shows, thousands and thousands of shows at this point, and I'm very much a live artist and a singer-songwriter. So I write my work, and I play guitar, piano, and sing for the most part. I dabble in a few other things, but those are my specialties, I would say.
What do you prefer between the piano and guitar? Do you have a place you lean more on?
It's hard to say. I started out on piano, and that's sort of my primary instrument. And when I'm thinking in musical terms, that's I'm always thinking in terms of piano. And I have found a lot of emotionality from the piano. But as I grew up, I started to learn guitar and realized that that was a super social instrument that I could take anywhere. It was a lot more accessible. So I started really playing guitar and sort of focusing there, my energy there, especially being in Nashville. It is the instrument of choice for sure.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You definitely fit in right out of the box with carrying a guitar in.
Yes,
Well, I
yes.
see the legendary Keb Mo was attached to you in various places. So when I came into this, I might have been expecting more of a blues-based sound.
Mhm.
But you've got your fingerprints scattered all over this thing, along with his. I mean, I think he's put some impression on your sound too. What would you say are your influences? I mean, like starting as early as you did, what has influenced your sound along the years to give you the sound you have? Because you don't really you can't pigeonhole you as blues, and you can't really pigeonhole you and say, okay, you're all country, you're not pop. What would you call your sound? How would you describe that to someone who hasn't heard any of it yet?
I generally kick it off by saying that I'm a singer-songwriter because that covers a lot of ground. And much like Keb Mo, he dabbles in Americana, and the more music that he's put out recently, the more I feel these Americana and pop vibes, and definitely pulled a lot of inspiration from that. And that was inspiring in the sense that people do think of him as blues, but he is capable of doing just about anything. And I've always been that type of artist since starting with music. It was not about a specific genre, although there are some that I gravitate more towards than others. But I love everything from classical to jazz to pop music to blues to a lot of rock music I grew up listening to. So Alanis Morissette was a big one for quite some time in my life, and Jeff Buckley as well. And when I was really young, Whitney Houston was on the airwaves and just inspiring me, and I would always try to keep up with her vocals. So she was a huge inspiration growing up, and just exceptional vocalists and exceptional writers have always inspired me along the way.
That's fantastic. Well, a lot of the blurbs I've read about you are by other songwriters. It seems like you're a songwriter. I mean, how would you describe the process that you go about writing? Are you, mostly solo, mostly co-write? Where do you come down on that?
I'm mostly solo, although Nashville has happily got me out of that box. And if I do write, it's generally with one other person, maybe another, not normally more than three people. But most of my stuff is on my own. And the process is different each time. Sometimes I've taken a title and been inspired by that first off. Sometimes I've had a poem or lyrics up front. But most of the time, I would say it's sort of a simultaneous project, like where I might have a riff that it inspires me, but I start to piece together lyrics that go around with that chord progression. So it's kind of a all-inclusive thing for me.
It kind of depends on how you're heading at that day, doesn't it?
Exactly, exactly.
Well, I noticed that you don't record the only songs you've written. How do you go about deciding? Okay, I'm going to put this song out instead of the ones I've written. How do you sort that out?
That's a great question. There's a lot of songs that I have covered, in live shows, but to encapsulate them in a recording that's going to go out to the world and essentially be there forever is something I don't take lightly. I make that choice deliberately from the inspiration that song, the meaning of that song, how much it means to me personally, and authentically. So on the record that Keb Mo produced, Grown Up Games, I covered a song called Gin, which is a song my cousin Amy Correia wrote. She's an inspiring singer-songwriter as well, and that her lyrical her lyrics are so strong in every song that she writes that this one in particular is just so vivid, and it transforms you into another place. It takes you to a whole different time, a whole different personality. And it's just something I always kept in my catalog. So I would continue covering it, and I would always get such a great response that I knew that I needed to like capture this for my fans so that they could always come back to it at any time. Even if it's not at a show, they could just push play and listen. So that one, that's how that one came about. And then on the latest record, we just released "Speak to a Girl," my version of "Speak to a Girl" with Shy Carter, and Shy is one of the writers of the song. And I happened to just back in 2017 when Tim McGraw and Faith Hill put the song out, it blew my mind. It was just like everything I wanted to say but hadn't penned myself. So it was like a song that I had written, but I wasn't the writer on, and it just stole my heart. And fast forward to about a year and a half, 2 years later, after the song came out, I was playing at the Cutting Room in New York City, and I was one of several artists that were featured that night. And a gentleman came up to me after the show, and it happened to be Shy Carter. And he was just, complimenting me on my performance and my songwriting. And he just lightly, humbly brought up that he's a songwriter as well, and that he has a few cuts. And like I said, he was humble because he has some mega hits for sure. And he mentioned "Speak to a Girl," and my jaw dropped because I'm like, this is so serendipitous. So it started this really great friendship, and we've performed it quite a few times together, and um, kept saying that we're gonna put this out. We're gonna record this one day. I expressed the desire to do that, and it finally came to fruition for this record. So the record's called "Flying," and "Speak to a Girl" is featured on it, with Shy Carter singing along with me.
Nice. So the video for "Speak to the Girl" that's available now, right? You can watch that one now, or is
Yes,
that
yes,
okay?
yep.
So that one is
That
available if you look
portion,
on YouTube, probably, right?
yes, yep.
And then the "Flying" is that a whole album? What is "Flying"? Is that an entire
Flying is
album?
it is the title track, and it is the name of the record. I don't normally name my records after that, but this particular song was a transformation for me in terms of my own personal growth of just really stepping into my own and being authentic. So I really felt that song really encapsulates where I'm going and where I am right now in my life and in my career. So yeah, it's called Flying.
Yeah, and Flying comes out November 15th, right? So everybody can get it on November 15th. Is that right?
Correct. Correct.
Okay,
Yes. We're
fantastic.
excited.
And you have another new single coming out next week, October 29th, One That Got Away,
That's
right?
true. That
You're a
is
busy
true.
girl. Got a lot of
Yes.
stuff going on at one time here.
Yes, I'm definitely very busy. I'm trying to make sure I schedule some sleep in between all this stuff.
How many songs have you written to date? Because I read that you started at like 9 years old, at least beginning writing songs. How many songs have you written over that period?
You know, I've never actually tallied the exact number, and so I'm definitely well up past 500 at this point in songs, but I don't know the actual number, so that will stay tuned to be determined. Next time, I'll have the actual tally for you.
Yeah, see if you have time sometime to sit down and do that instead of taking that nap.
Yes, yeah, that'd be part of the plan here.
There you go. Well, we're here today to talk about your video for Rose-Colored Glasses. Tell us a little bit about this song before we play it. What should we be watching, listening for? What should we pick up on in this song?
Yeah, circling back to the song that we talked about just a little while ago, Flying, how that was about growth. Um, Rose-colored glasses is about the experiences that I compiled from myself and other women, the trials and tribulations that they have experienced in their lifetimes, and it's about strength and it's about growth. So it fits all the same themes, and essentially, I had recorded this about a year or so ago, and had been saving it up, and I had reached out to my friend Lily May, who's an incredible artist here in Nashville. She's busy on tour right now with Post Malone, and she found some time last year to come into the studio and record this with me and share this message. As women in the music industry, there's not as many of us as there are men, and but we're here and we're strong and we're making our music as well, and we have unique challenges that we've experienced, within the industry, being women. And I thought she would be the perfect person to help share that message. She was literally one of the very first people I met when I moved to Nashville. Within 24 48 hours I was here, she was one of the first people that I met. She was 16 at the time, and it's our friendship has remained. She's come to perform up north with me at times, and other places as well, and I've seen her perform many spots as well. So she's inspiring, and the perfect person to help carry this message with me.
I think so too. I'd love to play it. How about you?
So, yeah, I'd love to hear it. Let's do it.
Awesome. All right. Awesome. You're watching Rebecca Correia's video for Rose-Colored Glasses here on AIM Country Music Television.
She wears rose-colored glasses, even though it's out of fashion. Rose-colored glasses. She floats on the wings of a dove, straight up to the sky, into the arms of love. And there's a red stain on the earth where her damage fell, faster than the speed of light, on through to the gates of hell. She's on her way back home. She's leaving all the bad things behind her as she goes, on her way back home. She takes the form of a lover. She's been everybody's mother, but she's nobody's saint. She bears the mark of a soldier, carries the weight on her shoulder, and she walks with faith. And there's a red stain on the earth where her damage fell, faster than the speed of light, She's on her way back home. She's leaving all the bad things behind her as she goes. On her way back home. Somewhere in the distance, there's a place for her. It's coming into focus. The past is just a blur. On her way back home. Way back home. There's a red stain on the earth where her damage fell. Faster than the speed of light on through to the gates of hell. She's on her way home. She's leaving all the bad things behind her as she goes. On her way back home. Way back home. Way back
That's a great song, and you and Lily May really gel. She's busy, you're busy. How do you guys get your time together to do this? Because she obviously did the song, but she also did this video with you. It's really nice. Two people gel that well in a video.
Yeah, she's an exceptional musician all around. She is one of those people that can be the front woman, but also she can blend with anybody. And she's an incredible fiddle player and guitarist and beyond. And so she's very busy. We're both very, very busy, and we both are very kind and gentle and give each other grace and patience when, you know, we're trying to get together and make some music, but when we're inspired, we make sure it happens. So you know, sometimes it's been you know, she'll come over here to where I'm at, and we'll make music, or sometimes I'll, you know, go to see her playing, and that's a huge inspiration for me. So we fit it in when we can, and I've definitely been in the audience quite a few times when she's up there on the big stage.
Well, tell us a little bit about making this video. Your producer, videographer, setting, you know, just what all went into place to make that, because it's a solid story.
Thank you. It's a really cool track. This one was a very small team in the respect that Casey Wasner is our producer on this song, and he is often on tour with Keb Mo, which is how I met him, and he lives here in historic Leapers Fork as well. There's a studio there, and we just started working together. He's an exceptional artist on his own and he's a multi-instrumentalist and an incredible engineer, Grammy award-winning engineer. And he and I just started sort of tinkering around in the studio and trying out a few songs. He played most of the instruments on this particular track. I played guitar on it, and Lily played fiddle, and we both sang, of course. But Casey is a jack of all trades and played the drums, bass, all that stuff for this one. So it was a really unique track because the record Flying has a band. You know, we have a band, the same players for each song on that record. Whereas this one was sort of a niche little project that we did together, creating with the three of us. And I love how it came out. It's really beautiful to have fiddle on my music because string instruments, cello is my absolute favorite. But it's a beast. It's something that I'm not planning to tackle anytime soon. So it was a real treat to have her play the fiddle and be singing harmonies on this.
It adds a ton to the song for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And when she came into the studio, I had went on, Amazon and got the heart-shaped glasses for everybody, in like a rose color, and I got a pair for each of us, including her little daughter Aberdeen, who was there in the studio, and we were kind of passing her back and forth because she was so young. She needed to be with mom at all times. So it was special to have that next generation with us creating that song.
Yeah, no doubt. I should ask, how did you get slid up under Kev Mo's wing to start with? It seems like you guys are pretty close. How did that transpire?
Yeah, that's a great question. I, of course, had always heard of him. He's a legend. And I knew that he was here in town. And a dear friend of mine, Kevin So, an artist and songwriter himself, called me up one day and said, "You want to come over and hang out with Kev Mo with me?" And I said, "Sure." And so he made the intro, and then Kevin So made the intro, and then Keb and I became fast friends. And I would just call him from time to time. Essentially, he was my neighbor at the time, not next door, but just a little ways down the road. And I'd go over from time to time, and it just blossomed. And one day he called and asked me to come over and write, and that was a song called Blues Americana, from the Blues Americana record, which is called So Long Goodbye. So that song made it to hit that record in 2013, and then we ended up re-recording it for my album later on down the line.
I heard that looking through your catalog.
Yeah, it's one of my faves, and it was really special to be able to have that that memory and have that encapsulated for all time now.
Well, this has been delightful. But before I let you get away, how about you tell us where to find you on stage, online, and where we could buy or listen to all of your music?
Absolutely. My website is RebeccaCorreia.com. That's RebeccaCorreia. And you can find me on Instagram at Rebecca Correia. I'm also on TikTok as Rebecca Correia Sings. So Rebecca Correia Sings on TikTok. And then Facebook is Rebecca Correia Music. So if you type my name in, you might be surprised where I show up, because I'm just about everywhere. But Rebecca Correia is where you can find, RebeccaCorreia.com is where you can find my shows and my music.
Yeah, good jumping off spot.
Yes.
Well, thanks for coming on the show today. It's been a pleasure.
My pleasure as well. Thank you, Mark, for having me.
You're very welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, Rebecca Correia. So what do you guys think? Is Rose-Colored Glasses going to be your new favorite song? This has been Mark Gillia for AIM Country Music Television. Thank you for watching.